Hi there. Welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Tom, and it is super short and simple, which I love. I love these short, simple questions. So the question is, Tom says, why in a seemingly high and clear state of mind do I continue to make poor food choices? So I love this question because it highlights some I don't know if they're misunderstandings, but some common things, some places where we get a little stuck, I think, when it comes to our biology and our state of mind and how all of that works. So I get it, because it can seem like, okay, when I'm in a low state of mind, meaning I just don't feel well, in case you're not familiar with the term state of mind, we're just in a kind of a lower place. That's when a lot of old habits come up, obviously, a lot of relief techniques and just trying to numb and feel better and all of that. When we're in a clear state of mind, our healthy nature is shining through easier than ever. And so it can look like, in a nice, clear, happy state of mind, I should gravitate toward healthier stuff. I used to think this. I think I really believed that if I would just kind of get my thinking right, or if I was enlightened, or who knows what, I would only love foods that were green and healthy, and I would just not even like anything else. And I just don't think it works that way. So think about it. I mean, we are biological machines. This body-mind thing, there's so much going on, and there's so much learned, and there's so many habits in there, and so many preferences, and all of this biology is running. Now, for sure, if we're in a greater state of mind, we might be in a place where we can kind of see something new or have some new insights, or maybe you're a little more aware. So maybe if you just mindlessly reach for the same thing you always reach for, in a little clearer mind, you might think, hey, do I even want this? Or what's going on with that? So for sure, Tom, and that's the thing, that's where it's a little bit of a yes and a no. In a sense, what you're saying, when I'm in a high state of mind, it seems like I should make better food choices. I think there's something to that in general, but it's very much just an in general, There's also, what I'm saying is, we are these biological machines with all kinds of habits and all kinds of stuff that just runs. And I think that's just the state of it. And so here's where it gets really interesting. What a mind can do, and what I see minds do all the time, is kind of make up these theories, and we don't even recognize that this is happening. This just looks very clear and obvious, of course this is how it should be. But watch for your mind kind of coming up with some hidden agendas or shoulds or judgments. So when your mind says, I'm in a great state, I should only like green foods right now, your mind made that up, really. Your mind, that's kind of it, in a sense, pushing its agenda. We want to be healthy. We, meaning your mind is making up what healthy is. Yes, there are foods that are probably objectively healthier than others, fine. But your mind in general is just making up what its idea of health is and pushing it and pushing its agenda, and then kind of using state of mind in a sense, saying, I'm in a high state of mind, I'm in a great state of mind, I should want this stuff. But again, when it doesn't work that way, that gets to be our insight. That gets to show us something, and we get to just be curious about that. Just be curious about what's kind of going on in there, behind the scenes a little bit. And be curious about good food choices versus poor food choices. So again, this is where a mind will have all kinds of judgment and thoughts and agenda that we might not recognize. It might just look absolutely clear and obvious to us. But what even are these things, Notice where your mind is telling you how you should be eating and what it should look like. Because, I just think so many people fall into this. I did for years, where it looked like science. It looked like obvious. Of course, this is how a person should be eating. This is better than that kind of thinking. But the this and the that is only coming through a mind, which is incredibly subjective. And of course has a ton of agenda and its own old thinking and conditioning and fear and all of that kind of baked into it all. So I think a really great question is, what even is a good food choice, and how do I even know? Like if we let ourselves be really kind of dumb, as I like to say, just without all this old thinking, how do we even know what a good food choice is or not? Is it truly better or healthier to eat an apple from a horrible state of mind when the last thing you want is an apple, but you're going to force yourself to eat it? Or is it better to eat, chocolate and feel good? I don't know what's healthier for a body. I don't think anyone truly does. And I think that's where we have a lot of room to kind of be in this dumb sort of way, dumb and curious kind of way, where we're like, well, what do I know? But anyway, this whole thing about higher state of mind, I should be eating higher quality food. Again, I think there's an in general to it, and you can have some insights about that and see some things when you're in a higher state of mind versus a messier state of mind, let's say. But it's also just more than anything a great opportunity to get curious about the theories and the agenda and the judgments that are kind of coming through in that. So I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for sending the question. And you guys can send your questions to askamy@thelittleschoolofbigchange.com. Send questions about anything at all, habits, anxiety, how our mind works, whatever comes up. I'd love to speak to them. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you back here next week.